Hey there, and welcome to Bill's Pseudo Midlife Crisis. My name is Bill, and today's video is not about my jet ski for a change. Today's video is about my hip, and more specifically, my new fake hip that I had installed 4 weeks ago today. So 4 weeks ago, I had a total hip replacement, and this video is I decided to make it for a couple reasons. One, to show people where I'm at 4 weeks after, and two, to talk a little bit about the approach that was taken to my hip replacement. So there are three possible approaches. You can get a anterior approach, which is the front of your hip. You can get a side approach where they cut down the side of your leg, and that's called a lateral approach, or they can go more kind of near the back through your bum, and that's called the posterior. And that's about as much as I know about it. But what I can tell you is there's hot debate among doctors and all the Chesterfield doctors online about which is the best approach. And my doctor, Dr. Brad Weaning, excellent guy here in Oakville, who was recommended to me by a number of other doctors as being a guy who does a really good quality work in terms of hip replacements, which is what I was concerned with. Not so much what approach I had, that more so the quality and the longevity, because I am a little bit active. I'm not a super athlete, but I did want to get back to golfing regularly, and I definitely wanted to get back to riding these jet skis regularly as well. So I wanted something that was going to be durable and, really as long lasting and strong as possible. So when I went to see him, he explained to me the anterior approach, which is in the front, where they don't actually cut the muscles, they separate them somehow, and then they get in there and do what they have to do in terms of cutting the ball off your femur and putting in and all the fake stuff. And that's the anterior, and there's benefits to that. And the main benefit is you recover faster because they don't cut muscle. Um, and that seems to be kind of almost the only or the biggest, that's definitely the biggest benefit. And it's a good benefit. Definitely. If you need to get back on your feet quickly and you're not so worried about all the other things, then that's a good one, because there's not many downsides to it. A few things that were explained to me, and one big one was possibility of some nerve damage. And that I don't really totally understand that, but I've had some other surgeries and I understand nerve damage, and it's bad if you get it. So I wanted to minimize that risk. And then the lateral approach through the side, they do have to cut the muscle, but it gives them, from what I read and from what I understand, it gives the doctor maybe the best view of the hip and the hip socket and their pelvis and all that, what they have to do all their stuff in there. And it allows them to perhaps do what he thought was the best job at giving me the strongest, best hip replacement that he could. And that was what he was good at. That's what he does. And he swore by it. So that was good for me. Like I said, he was highly recommended, and that was also an important thing for me to have a doctor that other people were comfortable recommending, which they were with Dr. Weaning. So I went with the lateral approach. And then the posterior is also another approach, which is also done. And some doctors like to do it that way. I don't know much about that one, but I know that they have to cut muscle in that approach as well. So I can tell you that having some muscle cut is painful. It hurts. Not like super painful, but it hurts in terms of walking again, and you have very little strength when you first get out of surgery. Not your overall strength, just the strength in those muscles, and it really hurts to walk. Like it's a bummer. It's not that much fun, to be honest, but it's not the end of the world. And I think I'm not the toughest guy in the world. I think anybody could do it, and people much older than me and much, just other people who are not maybe as tough as me or not nearly as young as me. I'm only 58. Do it all the time. So I think anybody could do it, but it does hurt. And rebuilding those muscles is a slow process, but it's not that hard, to be honest. The reason I made the video is because if you go online as a patient and you want to find somebody who has had a lateral approach and they're going to tell you about their progress, it's really hard to find anybody. It's weird. What you can find is 8 million people made videos of their anterior approach, almost like there's like a secret like agenda to promote the anterior approach. I mean, maybe it's a great approach and people like to talk about it. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I find it a little weird that there's not many people that have made a video about the lateral approach. And again, I'm no expert. I just wanted to let people know how I'm doing 4 weeks after my surgery with my lateral approach. So how am I doing? Okay, so in terms of mobility at 4 weeks, here's how I'm doing. I can walk around no problem with my cane. So I put a little bit of weight on here, not much, a little bit, and I can walk around, no problem. Going uphill is, my driver's got a bit of a slope on it, is harder than going downhill for sure. Even going downhill is a bit hard. I can definitely easily, with my cane, hold on one leg. But if I try to do that without the cane, I can't really do it yet. So that's about how strong it is. I'd say my leg is like better than 50%, maybe around 50%. So that's where I'm at. I can not easily, but I can bend down like this. And I have to be aware not to make this angle more than 90 degrees, because that's one of the precautions. That's the big precaution. You're not supposed to lift your leg up, past. You can't pull your knee up, because you'll dislocate, maybe potentially, your hip, which is, to be honest, kind of scares the crap out of me. So I'm pretty careful with that. And you're not allowed to cross your legs, which is driving me insane. But in terms of mobility, I can walk around. I mean, even without my cane, you can see I can walk, not normally yet, but definitely, I can definitely do it. And just 3 or 4 days ago, I couldn't do this. So that's a big, huge improvement. So just for walking, I still use the cane because I still need it a little bit. I have a feeling that probably in the next few days, uh, definitely by a week from now, I would say I won't need it, but I'll probably keep carrying it for a bit. I don't know. I'll be done with it when I'm done with it. But that's how I'm doing. I can go up steps using my cane like normal. When you first start, you have to go up one step, then up another step, and then up another step, just because you don't have enough strength in your leg. But for the last week or so, maybe last 4 or 5 days, I've been able to go up and down stairs like with a normal stride, and it definitely hurts more, but I feel like I'm building some strength and I'm not pushing too hard. Um, that's all there is to it. There's a bunch of really easy exercises that you have to do a couple times, 2 or 3 times a day, and they like you to walk as much as possible. So at 4 weeks, this is where I'm at. I feel fine. I felt like crap after the surgery for about 3 days, like really rough. The anesthetic, I guess, and all the drugs that they were giving me for pain and to knock me out, and the epidural. I don't know if that causes you to feel crummy, but it is. I felt really rough, not pain wise, although there was some. I felt really sick for the first 2 or 3 days, and then I woke up one day, like the third or fourth day. I kind of felt normal again, and my appetite came back. I didn't have to take a lot of painkillers to control the pain. I'm not taking any now. There's a couple Tylenol here and there if I did kind of overdo it, but nothing extra. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I don't know if that helps, but if you're having or going to have a lateral approach hip replacement, this has been my experience. I'm average in most ways, definitely athletic wise, weight wise. I'm not, I'm a little overweight. I'm a lot out of shape. And I'm just kind of your average dude who has done, this is how I've done in the first 4 weeks. So you can kind of gauge yourself compared to me if you're more in shape or less in shape or older or younger, whatever. And it's not so bad. I wouldn't worry too much about it. And the only thing that I'm struggling with a little bit, and it's just a little bit, it's the persistence. You have to be so persistent every day. You have to do these exercises, and you only get like 1% better per day. So it's really slow. But 1%, you start at about 30%. So 70 days, 2 or 3 months, and you should be back to normal. So I'm already 4 weeks into it. So I'm a third, at least, of the way through, and it hasn't been that bad. Sleeping's a bit of a drag because you can't roll over on your side. So that's the worst part about it. But other than that, it's not so bad. So I hope that helps if you're going to have a lateral approach. If you had the anterior approach, I hope it worked out for you, and you're probably further along than this. And that's to be expected, according to my doctor, that the lateral or the posterior approach takes 3 or 4 weeks longer to recover from than the anterior approach, and that's the downside. The upside is they get a better look at the muscle, maybe a little less nerve damage potential, and depending on your doctor, they may be better at it doing it that way. So anyway, hope that helps, and I'll do another one at 6 or 8 weeks and let you guys know where I'm at.